We're thinking about things that crush, that thwart a ministry lifestyle, being that agent of the gospel of Jesus in your neighborhood. Well, the second one of those is pride. You say, Paul, I don't think I'm a proud person. Well, let's talk about that. What I'm talking about is the subtle pride of self-righteousness, where I begin in subtle ways. I don't think we do this consciously, but in subtle ways, I begin to take credit for things in me that I could have never, ever earned, achieved, deserved, or produced. They're only ever the result of God's grace. So I take credit for being a little bit obedient, for walking a circumspect life. And you see, when you take credit for that, then it's very tempting to look down on people who are not exhibiting what you're exhibiting. Let me say it this way, and I find this very convicting. You're always in spiritual trouble when you're more concerned about the sin of other people than you are about your own. That's what self-righteousness is about. And so rather than looking at people who are weak and failing, irresponsible, lost, and loving them and feeling compassionate about them, you look down on them. You don't give them the same grace that you have been given. Think about this. I think this is always true. No one gives grace better than a person who's deeply persuaded he needs it himself. Humility is the fertile soil in which grace grows and ministry grows. Listen, your weakness is never in the way of your usability. Your delusions of strength are. Because people who announce that they're strong, who take pride in their spirituality, who take pride in their theological awareness, who take pride in their biblical literacy, who take pride in acts of giving and service and obedience, will always judge people who are less than them. Pride kills ministry. And I think that for many of us, we can walk by broken, lost people, and we can say to ourselves in ways we don't realize we're saying, they're just losers who have made bad choices and they ought to get their acts together. And if God had said that to us, we'd all be damned. It's a tragedy. It's wrong. You see, none of us have any reason for boasting, because there's no good gift that I experience, whether it's inside of me or outside of me, that is not the result of glorious, ever-present, patient grace. Pride kills ministry. Self-righteousness kills ministry. Taking credit for what you could not ever have achieved kills ministry. Maybe the way to start being an instrument in your neighborhood is not starting with your neighbors, but starting with yourself. Confessing your pride and praying that heartbroken humility would drive thriving ministry in your life.